right now. The more important question is not what do I have to do to change my situation, but how must I think so that I'm no longer ruled by my situation. A person with clear, stable, and intentional thinking can turn adversity into an asset, but a person whose mind is governed by fear and doubt place them in a world full of opportunities and they still won't see a way out. Your mind is not you, it is your tool. But if you don't use it intentionally, it will use you, and the result is a life adrift, directionless, constantly pulled by emotion and impulsive reactions. You want to build a new life? Start by building a new mind. And a new mind doesn't come from reading one book or listening to one motivational talk. It comes from disciplining your thoughts daily, filtering the information you absorb, filtering the words you speak, even filtering how you respond to the things you cannot control. Every sentence you repeat, every emotion you cultivate is a brick in the structure of your next reality. You cannot demand external freedom if you are still a slave to your internal stream of thought. Freedom does not begin with money, status, or recognition. It begins the moment you declare, I no longer allow my mind to speak things that destroy me. You no longer allow yourself to think in old patterns. You no longer let outdated emotions dictate your current actions. You intercept that chain of reaction, and from there you rewrite a new chain, intentional, aware, and full of power. Maybe you were taught that you can't control your thoughts, that they come and go like the wind, but that's only half the truth. Thoughts may come uninvited, but what you choose to keep, repeat, and nurture, that is what defines who you are. And you can absolutely train your mind to respond differently, to think differently, to choose differently. Just like the body needs training to become strong, the mind needs training to become the sharpest tool you own. Every outer change will become sustainable only if, and only if, you change the inner structure first. There is no shortcut. You don't need to control the world. You just need to control how you see the world, and from there, how you respond to it. When you change the lens of your mind, everything you see will take on new meaning. And from that new meaning, you will act differently. You will speak differently. You will become someone whom circumstances can no longer control. You will be the one adjusting the environment, not a victim of it. And that transformation begins from deep within, where you pause, observe, and decide, I am the one who controls my mind, and therefore, I control my life. Belief is not a fleeting emotion. It is not something that comes and goes with your mood. It is not a burst of excitement nor a flicker of hope that sparks in the night and vanishes by morning. Belief is a system, a mental structure governed by clear laws, operated by specific principles, and most importantly, it can be intentionally built. Don't confuse momentary excitement with true belief. Someone may pound their chest and declare, I believe, but the moment failure strikes, if they collapse, retreat, or dodge responsibility, what they called belief was nothing more than a passing emotion tinted by expectation. True belief doesn't behave that way. Real belief does not change with life's weather. It is the foundation, not a flag fluttering in the wind. I'm telling you this because I've witnessed countless people delude themselves, saying, if only I had more inspiration, I'd take action. But inspiration doesn't produce results. Only one thing does: deliberate repetition, combined with clear thinking, strong emotion, and consistent action. Belief doesn't arise on its own. It is trained. It is forged through time, through trials, through how you respond each time you face disappointment, delay, or doubt from the world. And here's the remarkable truth. You can consciously reprogram your belief if you know how to use the right tools. The subconscious is the place where every belief that governs your life is stored. And the subconscious does not respond to what you think just once. It does not hear you when you speak weakly without emotion. It only works when you say something over and over, charged with emotion and free of inner contradiction. You might say, I believe I will succeed, but if deep inside you still tremble at the thought of money, You're sending mixed signals. And the subconscious will respond to the stronger belief, not to the one you merely hoped for. Right thinking is not enough. You must combine it with deep emotion, with vivid imagery, with persistent repetition. Only then can a thought become real belief, and once it becomes belief, it will silently dictate everything. The decisions you make, the people you connect with, the opportunities you notice, and even how you respond to failure. Belief isn't just an idea, it's a living energy embedded in how you show up. Others may not hear you say, "I believe," but they'll feel it in your eyes, your voice, your posture, and the consistency of your actions. Look closely at those who achieve the extraordinary. You'll see one common trait. They act as if what they want is inevitable. They don't sway under criticism. They don't stall when things are unclear. They don't need approval to keep going, because in their minds the result is already a fact. They're simply continuing the sequence of actions that bring that fact into public view. They don't act in hopes of achieving. They act because they've already achieved internally. And that makes all the difference. You can begin to train belief the way you train muscle. No inspiration needed, only discipline. Write down a declaration of who you are becoming and repeat it every morning and night. Don't read it like a chore. Read it with vivid images in your mind. Read it as if you're calling your future self into the present. Read it until your voice changes. Read it until your doubt disappears, and then act as if it were already true. No hesitation, no gesture that betrays the belief you just affirmed. That is how belief is built, not through philosophy, but through a daily spiritual habit. I know at times you'll feel conflicted. A voice inside will say, "But if I haven't seen anything yet, how can I believe?" And I say to you, this is exactly where human power is tested. Everyone believes when they have proof, but you are not rewarded for believing when it's obvious. You are rewarded for daring to believe before the world gives you permission. That is unconditional belief, and it's the only kind the universe responds to with full force. Once belief is established, it needs no support. It generates energy on its own. It lifts you when you fall. It changes how you speak, how you see life, how you choose people, how you live. And the world, quite naturally, begins to rearrange itself to match you, not the other way around. Never underestimate the power of what you repeat in your mind each day. Every time you say, "I can't," your subconscious registers it as a directive, and unless you counter it with a stronger belief, that command will run like a foundational code. Remember, the world does not respond to wishes, it responds to conviction. It doesn't care what you want if you're not living as though it's already yours, so starting today, choose one non-negotiable belief, just one, simple, clear, weighty. Then repeat it until it becomes the only voice in your head. Do this not to persuade the world, but to begin persuading yourself that you are worthy of what you've decided to believe. Belief is not an emotion, it is law. It operates like gravity. Whether you believe it or not, it is already at work. The question is, are you using it deliberately, or is it operating randomly against you? The truth is, you already believe something every day. The only question is, does what you believe lead you where you want to go? If not, it's time to replace it, and you absolutely have the power to do that, starting right now. You cannot demand clarity from life while carrying a vague map in your mind. Everything you are receiving, opportunities, relationships, results, emotions, is a precise reflection of the clarity in your daily thinking. Those who live with blurred